I'll be making for you tonight, which I'll do it on top of the Sprite if you want something a little more mild. Next, we're going to go more cocktail hour type thing, where you're looking at pre-dinner drinks. I've come up with a really great take on a classic favorite with Nacho Mama's Lemonana. It's going to incorporate mint, lemon juice, and other really great flavors that you're going to come in through there. Finally, we're going to be finishing with a great after-dinner cocktail. This is the Mediterranean Sour. It's made with Concord grape wine, so it's very sweet, and vanilla syrup. So it's coming through, you're blending the fruit and the vanilla flavors. You're going to get a very diverse experience tonight. So before we begin, I thought I'd just walk you through what some typical tools you would find in both an at-home and professional bar set. We're going to begin by talking about shakers. You may be very familiar with one of these, maybe seen it in a James Bond movie, or you have one of these at home. Ideally, what you're looking for in a shaker is something metal, a little bit of weight to it, and you feel very comfortable using. I try to avoid plastic because the ice being shaken inside will scratch the inside of the plastic, and that becomes a breeding ground for bacteria. Now, one of these is great for an at-home set when you are looking at making a couple drinks for yourself, or maybe you and a partner, but they're not ideal in a scenario where you're trying to make a lot very quickly. The reason for that being is you have three pieces: the body, the strainer, and the cap. The problem with this one is that cap comes off real easy and really comfortable, but after that you've been shaking a drink in here, you'll find it difficult. Whoop. See what I mean? Cap comes off, but not so much the strainer. It takes a lot more effort. So we tend to avoid those. What you'll see in a professional environment is something called a Boston shaker. Boston shaker is two parts. You have the main body and the top. The main body is usually about 30 to 40 ounces, and the bottom is 20. You'll see people really becomes personal preference if they want to mix the drink in the bottom or in the top. But fits in, makes a nice tight fit. As you shake, easy to do, pop it off like that. Real easy. Now, after that, when it comes time to strain, you have two options for strainers. This is a Hawthorne strainer or a spring strainer. You got a spring there and some holes over here. A julep strainer, you'll maybe be more familiar with as well when you're drinking mint juleps. These are more associated with drinks that are stirred rather than shaken. Things like martinis, Manhattans, Negronis, although Stanley Tucci does like to shake it. All right, so you may not be seeing that for the rest of the night, but you will see this one. Typical bar spoon has a long handle. You'll see bartenders don't normally stir like a normal way, put it between the ring finger and middle finger and use their wrist a lot more. So you'll see something like this. Doesn't work too well when there's no contents in the glass. All right, so the tools we'll be using this evening really focus on what's here. So this is a peeler, pretty simple. You've probably used one of these in the kitchen many times. That gets used for garnish. Hawthorne strainer, as I mentioned earlier, sits right on top of your shaker when you pour out your drink. A muddler will get used to break down things inside the glass. Things like mint or berries, if you're ever incorporating those into a drink, smushes it up right there. All right. These are jiggers. They're great little tools to measure things. You may see them shorter and narrower, but I like to use taller ones that are a bit more like that. All right, pretty simple. All right, so I'm gonna go over, I've set up a mise en place right here so that we have everything ready to go. This will be typically be done before a shift starts at a bar, just to have everything ready the whole night. You don't have to go to the back, you don't have to go to the kitchen, restock. So I've got all our garnishes ready to go for tonight, as well as some few extra ingredients. Mint, lemon slices and lime slices ready to go, cut into wheels, because that's how we're gonna be using them tonight. I've also got our lime juice, our lemon juice, and two syrups that we'll be using. to help get those ready. All right. I've also prepared some egg whites because we will be incorporating egg whites into a drink later today. So I've got those already done, so we don't have to worry about it later on, taking up extra time. Bitters and an orange will also assist. I've got 2 plates here. One has salt for rimming a glass, and one I'm going to put some lime juice in now to also rim the glass. Seems that we're ready to go, so why not let's begin. Now we're going to start with the Tel Aviv tea. The take on a bulldog, which is more of a party cocktail, a lot of fun, is a margarita incorporated with beer. So to start this off, we're going to need to get our ice ready and rim our glass. So what I've done, as I said, is I put salt into a plate right there, already ready to go. I'm going to take my lime juice, pour it in onto another plate. All right, get that going. Boom, boom. Real simple. Take your glass, run it through, get the edges nice and wet with the lime juice. And we're going to put it in the salt. And there you go, rimmed glass. Nice and simple. You can, if you don't have any fresh lime juice, you can use a slice of lime, kind of rub it around the edge. I find you don't get as even a rim, but it does work. If you do feel like using, say, kosher salt for a thicker salt rim, that is also doable. Doesn't stick as much, but it can look really nice. So you may be noticing I'm doing 2 glasses right now. The reason for that, as I said earlier, was that this cocktail does incorporate both beer and liquor. Some people might want something a little bit lighter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to make 2. One's going to have beer and one's going to have Sprite. Both are very delicious, just different flavor palettes. So get these out of the way. All right. So I'm going to start by filling my glasses at halfway with ice. All right. Next, you want to use something fairly similar to a lager or a Mexican beer. Coronas work great in this situation. Most times you'll actually see a small Corona tipped upside down into a bulldog. Reason for that, it's light, it's refreshing, tastes delicious. Real easy, real simple. So the first thing you want to do is make sure that you have your base. So right now I'm setting up the beer one. I'm using Heineken because that's what I have in the house. As everyone knows, it's a little more difficult to get to the LCBO, the beer store, all these places, not as open right now as they normally are. So whatever you feel comfortable using or that you have at home, feel free to flip. You want it to get to about halfway to 2/3 of your glass. All right. So that's all for that. And as I said, I'm also going to do one with Sprite. This is one that's a lot of fun to serve midday when you're having a few drinks with your friends, or you want to just start a party at home. It's a great way to get going. So now that we have our bases done, I'm going to be subbing in, as I said, I'll be making a double portion of this one. Now, normally, I'd be using this being a 1 ounce, and this is a 2 ounce. This is also a 1 ounce, but this is a 1/2 ounce. So I'm going to be saying 1 and 2, treat it as if I'm doing normally. You'll see it's going to produce both. So again, we're going to start with our ice. All right. So you want to get as much ice into the container as possible. This allows really for the drink to cool. That's what really the shaking is going to do. Gets it cold, nice and refreshing, all those things that you're looking for. And the coldness will really take off the bite, especially now because we're going to be working with tequila. I know tequila is a bad word for a lot of some people. For others, it gets them really excited. You know, we're more familiar with a party drink. This is a much slower drink. So we're going to do 2 ounces of tequila. There's 1 and 2. Next, we're going to do 1 part of lime juice. Now, often you really got to stick to lime versus lemon juice when you're making a drink. The reason for that being is that lemon is a bit sweeter and a lot more mild. Lime juice will bite. Lastly, we're going to incorporate some triple sec. All right, pretty simple drink, pretty much exactly a margarita. You're going to do 1 part triple sec. And dilly dilly. Oh, let me get these out of the way. Now to make it a bit more festive and to show you a neat little trick that's going to happen, I've got some blue food coloring. All right, so I'm just going to put 2 dots in. You don't have to use food coloring at all. If you do want to make it blue normally, you could even use blue curacao. It'll function exactly as the triple sec does, but a little more fun, a little more exciting. So the lid's going to go on. You want a nice tight seal on your shaker. Now this is one of the most important things about shaking a cocktail. You don't want to be shaking up and down. You really want to get a back and front movement. All right. You want to get it as aggressive a shake as possible and really force it through so that you're hitting both the front and back of the shaker so it's fully incorporated. All right. Want to do it over your shoulder so you can properly hear when the ice is breaking down. So I'll demonstrate. Tight grip, 2 fingers on each side if you can, but always 2 hands. Try and keep it real close. If you need to put your thumb over the back, totally acceptable. All right, so the tin is gonna get cold. That's normal. You're gonna wanna work quickly to try and prevent that. Holding it too long because your hands are getting a little tingly. Hit the base, pull it off. Now, never serve a drink to someone they haven't already tasted, right? Grab a straw. If you're more environmentally conscious, metal straws work fine. Dip it in, touch the top, and then, yum. Real strong though. Strainer goes right over the top, just like that. Now, put your thumb and hand along the back, finger on top, hold the seal. You're gonna wanna grab your drink. We're gonna try and get it to float just on top. Let's see, there should be enough. Whoops, that was a little heavy. And just like that. There we go. So as you can see, the 2 differences in the temperature and as well the density of the drinks is keeping the 2 levels, blue and clear, blue and beer. Real easy, right? Now we just garnish with a lime wheel on each. And you've got 2 great cocktails to serve at a party. These are awesome for having a good time with your friends, or even if you just want to kick back in your backyard or sit on a beach, even better. This is our Tel Aviv tea. All right. I'm going to put these over here for later. Next, we're going to move on to the Nacho Mama's Limonada. This is probably my favorite drink to make right now. I've been having a lot of fun with it. Really delicious. You're going to get lots of mint and lemon coming through, as well as a great sweetness. So start with your shaker. Pretty simple, just like before. Next, I'm going to use an ice ball for this one. I think it's a little fancier and a little nicer. We're going to hold on to that for a second. I'm using a nice tall glass. For the previous one, you want to use a beer glass or a tumbler, something heavier because it's going to be taking a lot of liquid, not just the liquor. everything's going to be in it. All right. For this one, you want a tall glass or Collins glass. Often, obviously, tall and narrow. This is great for a more herbal and aromatic drink, like the one we're about to make. You really want it in your face. All right. So, we've got our glass, we've got our shakers. What we're going to do, we're going to grab some mint. So, I've got a fully stocked mise en place already. This is great to have when you're throwing a party or even just wanting to impress someone. I'm going to put a couple of leaves straight into the glass and a few more leaves into the shaker. So break those up. Now, what you want to try and do as much as possible is you've got your leaves for the glass. Take those out. My mint is really fresh. I picked it today. And it's great, but you need to activate it. So the way you're going to do that, take them, put them in your palm, give them a smack and a twist. Real easy. All right? And it makes your hands smell real good. So back into the glass they go. Grab your muddler. There's usually two sides. You've got a heavy side with some spikes on the bottom and a lighter side, just rounded. You want to use the rounded side for this one, okay? Break it down and break all the spines if you can. You should feel it, and it's going to release all the oils and a lot of the flavor. It's nice and simple. Might even be a little wet at the bottom afterwards from the oils being released. All right. Delicious. Next, I have my ice ball. So I prepared these earlier using a special mold in my freezer. Makes a ball of ice. More surface area, and from each individual ice cube, you only really need one. Great for whiskey and great for other cocktails. You want to do something like this. All right. Next, grab our regular ice cube. I don't have a much better scoop than this. Try this one. Make a little better. As I said before, you want to try and get as much ice as possible into the shaker. All right. Now, always start with your ingredients that you want, your alcoholic ingredients. That way you can kind of measure them out. If you make too much, you can always add a little more juice, a little more things like that. So for this one, we're incorporating gin and Saint-Germain elderflower liqueur. A sweet elderflower liqueur in the French style. Can't really tell you the difference between French and Italian, but my palate can tell you that it prefers this one. So now we're just going to come with it. I'm going to go with 1 ounce, or 1 shot of Saint-Germain. And we're going to come 1 ounce or 1 shot of gin. Now, people do have a preference in gin because of the botanicals that are used. Some gins use things like cucumber and grapefruit, but you'll probably usually find juniper and lemon as some botanicals or plants that are used in the flavoring of gin. Pretty consistent overall. Next, we're going to come at it with 1 ounce of lemon juice. Whoop. So most cocktails are usually a balance of sweet, sour, and the alcohol flavor that you are working with. So you're always trying to find that balance, similar to the way you cook. You want to find that sweet, the sour, the bitter, tart, salty. These are all things you're looking for. So this is just plain simple syrup that I made. To make simple syrup, you just use equal parts boiling water and sugar. You can do it on a stove, or bartender secret, just boil a kettle, pour the sugar, pour the hot water over the sugar, but equal parts. So we're going to come with 1 ounce of simple syrup. And boom, right into the mixer. So incorporated in here, right now we have gin, elderflower liqueur, simple syrup, and lemon juice. 4 simple ingredients, as well as the mint. We'll put a few mint leaves in there, as well as muddling a few in the glass. Top off the shaker. Now you really want to get that firm seal that you'll often find, and if you don't get it, do it again. Often see that the top is at an angle, all right? Once it's in there tight, over the shoulder. All right, got my Hawthorne strainer from before. Now, it doesn't always want to give, but remember, pinch on the sides, heel of your palm, and off it comes. Give it a taste to make sure it's right. That's delicious. And there we go. All right, so you want it that high near the top of the glass. Now, grab some soda, club soda, soda water, Perrier if you got it. You're gonna top it off near the top of the glass. If you do have a bar spoon available, you can give it a little mix. Just a little pat down. Get a little of the flavors mixed in there. So now for garnish, we're gonna grab some lemon, as well as some more mint leaves. So we're gonna treat the mint the same way we did before we put it in the glass. Now you wanna give it a nice bouquet of mint, as much as you can. Don't be shy with it. This is gonna give it a little extra dimension. The garnish isn't just for the look. You wanna use a garnish that's actually gonna enhance the flavor of the cocktail. It's gonna create a full experience, something a little more rich than just shooting it back. You want a lot more than that. All right, so here I've got 5, 6 mint leaves. All right, again, into the palm, the heel of your hand. All right, gonna release the oils. And we're gonna put them right in there. There, you have a beautiful cocktail right there. So you're gonna wanna serve this to your guests facing this direction. Whenever they go for a drink, they're gonna get a full nose of lemon and mint and all those delicious flavors that you wanted in there. All right, and if they choose to use a straw, that's fine. Every time they reach in, still gonna get hit with that delicious flavor. Okay, so save that one for later. So as I said, I've really been enjoying making that cocktail, but this is one that's both a lot of fun to drink as well, and a lot of fun to make. This is our Mediterranean sour. So I'm using as the whiskey, Crown Royal Northern Harvest. You want to use a rye. It's got a lot more smoky flavors to it than say a bourbon, where the corn is making it a lot sweeter. I'm also using Manischewitz Concord grape. All right, you can use any sweet Concord grape wine that you have at home. Maybe it's your Shabbos wine, or you just enjoy drinking it. But you do want to get the sweet stuff. The reason for that being is that the flavor that we're looking for is almost like candy. That is really sweet, delicious, fruity, and it's going to blend really well with all our other ingredients to give you a nice creamy vanilla and great flavor. All right, so we're going to incorporate a technique for this one called a dry shake. Now, a dry shake is used when you're using egg whites. That may sound a little weird to some people that we're using egg whites in a cocktail. But the reason for that is it makes a delicious, creamy foam that also looks beautiful on top. If you don't eat eggs, you're vegan or you have an allergy, or if the thought of an egg white in a cocktail repulses you, you can use aquafaba, the water from chickpeas. All right, it does do the same thing. I don't find it as creamy, but you are going to get the same foam and the same effect. All right, so we're going to start with an ounce of lemon juice. Okay. Next, we're going to follow it with an ounce of egg whites. I separated these earlier, so it'll be a little bit faster. Okay. An ounce works out to about 1 egg, give or take. So that's all you have to worry about. Next, we're going to come with a vanilla syrup. I made this the other day. Very simple. You do the exact same thing you would do with the simple syrup, but I put a Madagascar bourbon vanilla pod in here. Split the pod, take out the inside, throw it right in. All right, so you want to do an ounce of this. Now these you can keep in the fridge for up to about 2 weeks when you make syrups. Nothing really to worry about, they're pretty stable. And you don't also just have to use them for cocktails. You want to make a nice iced coffee, sweeten it a bit, on top of desserts, whatever you need, basic syrups. All right, then you come in with an ounce of your rye whiskey. You can use a bourbon, you can use a scotch, whatever you do have at home. You don't have to use what I'm using, but I find a rye works best. Again, this menu has been made up primarily of what I already had at home. So if you've got something different, totally fine. Only real key ingredient in this one is that you use Concord grape wine. All right. Real sweet. Brings back a lot of memories. Probably still have some left from Pesach. Who knows? All right. So now that all those ingredients are mixed in, we're going to come with Angostura bitters. Buy these at your local grocery store. They have a very strong flavor. They're also great for assisting with digestion if you do have any issues, and delicious with just mix and Sprite. All right. Come 1, 2 dashes in there. Now, as I said, we're going to do something called a dry shake now. A dry shake is when you do have egg whites. You don't want to put the ice in right away. You want to shake it up first so that the foam forms and you get a beautiful meringue on top of your drink. All right, so same as before, into the shaker, make a nice seal, give it a hard shake. It's going to fight you a bit because the egg white is going to expand. Now, here, I'll give you a demonstration how it looks now. Beautiful foam. Looks very different than how it was before. All right. It smells fantastic. So I'm going to come at it with an ice ball. My hands are clean. Don't worry, I washed them before the show. But normally you'd use tongs or whatever, an ice scoop that you may have. I'm using, as I said, shaker bottom today. You want to get as much ice in as you can, of course. Try and cool the drink and have it ready for shaking. All right. Cool. And there we go. Beautiful. Now, once again, give it a taste. Make sure it's what you want. Yum. If it's missing an ingredient, that's why we do a taste. Needs more sweet, needs more sour. That's the time to do it. All right. So as I said, I've got my ice ball in there already. Top it off. There we go. Now for this one, you're going to garnish with a lemon rind, or an orange rind, sorry. So have my orange ready and a peeler. Want to try and get a nice solid piece of orange rind right off the top. And while it's surging, you can see becoming clear at the bottom and nice and foamy at the top. Want to squeeze the juice, the oils out of the rind right onto the drink. Give the rim a little rub. Let those oils are there. Again, this is to add some aromatics so that whoever's enjoying the cocktail can use more senses than. All right, right on top. See how it sits beautifully on the foam, comfortably, thick, creamy, delicious. Anyway, that's my last one for tonight. L'chaim, enjoy. Yum.
Thank you so much, Lucas. And from over here, L'chaim. L'chaim to everyone joining us at home. So it looks like we don't have any questions for you, Lucas, unless anyone has a quick one to throw in. I don't see anything. So with that, of course, Lucas, thank you so much for sharing with us those Israeli-inspired cocktails. I'm definitely enjoying my slightly tweaked version of Not Your Mama's Limonana. And thank you everyone for joining us this evening. I'm going to be passing it off to Jessica Kogan to give some brief remarks before we start with the David Broza performance. So thank you again, Lucas.
Jessica, are you there?
I am. I can see myself.
Go ahead.
Okay. Thank you to Lucas for those fun cocktails. For those of you joining with a cocktail at home, L'chaim. That is delicious. For those of you who are just tuning in, welcome. And thank you for joining us in celebrating Yom Ha'atzmaut. My name is Jessica Kogan, and I'm the past president of JNF, Manitoba and Saskatchewan region. We are so excited to get on to the second part of our program, and we are grateful to David Broza for agreeing to make a special appearance this evening to entertain us with a few songs. But before we bring out David, I'd like to tell you a little bit about something that JNF Canada has embarked on to help some of the hospitals in Israel during this time of COVID. As you know, we at JNF are dedicated to building the foundations of Israel's future. We specialize in building the social service infrastructure for Israel. But for those of you who are just tuning in now, earlier this month, JNF launched an emergency campaign to purchase ventilators for hospitals in the periphery to help Israel fight the global pandemic of COVID-19. Now, we've heard countless stories of sick patients who, without access to ventilators, may not have survived. Thanks to the generosity of donors across the country, we have raised over $150,000 towards our goal of $185,000, which would purchase 5 ventilators. We are hoping to raise sufficient funds by May 5th, which is already next week, to ensure more lives can be saved. Your support can truly make a difference. Now, if you can afford to make a donation of any size to help support us in this initiative and help hospitals in Israel breathe life back into patients, it would be deeply appreciated. Each ventilator costs $37,000. And if everyone participating tonight could give $50 or $100, then we would be able to purchase another machine. Please click on the link we have shared in the Zoom chat to make your donation. A link to the donation page will also be emailed out to you after tonight's event. Now, JNF Manitoba is thrilled that David Broza will be joining us on October 27th at our Negev Gala in Winnipeg. On behalf of JNF Manitoba, I would like to invite all of you from across the country to join us for this special event when we pay tribute to our Negev honoree, Dr. Ted Lyons. Come and experience some of our Winnipeg hospitality. As a preview to that evening, let's enjoy a taste of David's musical talent. Okay, so a bit about David. David Broza is an internationally renowned Israeli singer-songwriter, recognized for his dynamic guitar performances and humanitarian efforts. His signature sound brings together the influence of Spanish flamenco, American folk, rock and roll, and poetry. Social justice and peace advocacy are embedded in David's work. His 1977 hit song, Yehiye Tov, remains an Israeli peace anthem. With over 40 albums released, many of which are multi-platinum in English, Hebrew, and Spanish, Broza continues to tour globally, both as a solo musician and with his various musical projects. So everyone, please sit back, relax, keep sipping, and help me welcome David Broza. L'chaim.
Well, hello everybody. It's a real honor for me to take part in this celebration, Israel's 72nd anniversary, Independence Day, Yom Ha'atzmaut. As everybody is, I guess, unified today, not only in the celebration, but also being quarantined, back whether you're in Tel Aviv, or you're in Winnipeg, Manitoba, or in New York City, where I happen to be in quarantine for the past 8 weeks now. But nothing gives me more joy than to be able to sing for you. And I'd like to open with this. I'll do a couple of songs. One is Under the Sky, Mitachat HaShamayim, which has become a huge hit for me, having recorded it in my first sunrise concerts. The first one took place in 1993, just at the foothill of Masada, Metzada. And I start the show at 3 in the morning until the sun stands right in the sky, which is 4 hours later or so. And if you haven't seen any of the footage from there, you're most welcome to come and join me next summer. But until then, I'll sing tonight, and I look forward to seeing you again in October when I will visit. באנו לכאן מתחת השמיים, שניים כמו זוג עיניים. יש לנו זמן מתחת השמיים, בינתיים אנו עוד כאן, את ואני, את ואני, את ואני. והמיטה רחבה לתת אהבה, לילה ויום, לילה ויום, לילה ויום. והחיוך מתנצל שהוא מתנצל. כן, באנו לכאן מתחת השמיים, שניים כמו זוג עיניים. יש לנו זמן מתחת השמיים, בינתיים אנו עוד כאן, שנינו אחד, שנינו אחד, שנינו אחד, אחד שלם והכל, שלם וגדול. בואי ניתן, בואי ניתן, בואי ניתן. אני אתן לך לתת לי לתת לך. כן, באנו לכאן מתחת השמיים, שניים כמו זוג עיניים. יש לנו זמן מתחת השמיים, בינתיים אנו כאן. ולמרות הפער, ולמרות הכאב, ולמרות הצער, אני אוהב ואוהב ואוהב. Na 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 na. And if you're relaxing, you can try this now. Try singing Hebrew with me. Na 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 na. Try this. And na 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 na. Na 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 na. I can't hear you, but just try. Na 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 na. Yeah. And na 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 na. All right. Na na. Oh, yeah. אחד כן באנו לכאן, מתחת לשמיים, שניים גאולות זוג עיניים. יש לנו זמן מתחת לשמיים, בינתיים אנו באנו לכאן, כן, כן, תחת השמיים, כאן שניים כמו זוג עיניים. יש לנו זמן תחת השמיים, ובינתיים יש לנו זמן, הרבה זמן. בזמן זה כל העניין, כי יש יש לנו זמן, הרבה זמן, זה כל העניין שלנו. יש זמן כאן בוויניפג, יש זמן כאן בוויניפג, יש זמן, כן, יכולנו להיות בתל אביב, יכולנו להיות בבאר שבע, יכולנו בירושלים, יכולנו בחיפה, יכולנו בנהריה, יכולנו במדריד, יכולנו להיות בניו יורק, יכולנו בסן פרנסיסקו, יכולנו בלוס אנג'ליס, יכולנו בוויניפג. יש זמן, הרבה זמן, יש זמן, יש לנו זמן. Right. So this was מתחת השמיים, under the sky, which I love singing, and it's just very passionate, as you could tell. And I get out of control whether I'm in my own environment at home in my living room, or whether I'm in a theater or in some other place to perform in a festival somewhere. It's always exciting for me. It's always a first primal feeling I get. It's full of passion, and I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you can flow with it, relax, but also get the rhythm a little bit. Now, when I was introduced, there was a mention of my first song, which is a song that no matter how many times a day I will perform, no matter how many times a week, it's a song I always include in my show. And this is the song that's called Yeh Tov, Things Will Be Better. I wrote it in November of 1977, upon the arrival of Egypt's president, Anwar Sadat, to Israel for the first time. So I wrote this with my good friend, Israeli poet Yonatan Geffen. He wrote the words, handed them to me, and demanded that I write music to it. I had never written a song before. But I was a performer, but I was covering other people's songs. So this was my first one, and actually paved my way to this career of mine, which has been going for over 40 years now. To be exact, 43 years. So here it is. Things will be better. אני מביט מהחלון, וזה עושה לי די עצוב. האביב חלף עברנו, מי יודע אם ישוב. הליצן היה למלך, הנביא נהיה ליצן, ושכחתי את הדרך, אבל אני עוד כאן, ויהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר. אז הלילה, הלילה, איתך אני נשאר. ילדים לובשים כנפיים ועפים אל הצבא, ואחרי שנתיים הם חוזרים ללא תשובה. אנשים חיים במתח, מחפשים סיבה לנשום, ובין שנאה לרצח מדברים על השלום. ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר. אז הלילה, או הלילה, איתך אני נשאר. כן, שם למעלה בשמיים עננים לומדים לעוף, ואני מביט למעלה ורואה מטוס עטוף, ממשלה של גנרלים מחלקת את הנוף, ושלהם ולשלנו מתי נראה את הסוף. אוי למה נשיא מצרים, איך שמחתי לקראתו, פירמידות בעיניים ושלום במקטרתו, ואמרנו היי בוא נשלימה ונחיה כמו אחים. ואז הוא אמר קדימה, רק תצאו מהשטחים, ויהיה טוב, או יהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר. אז הלילה, או הלילה, כך אני נשאר. So, over the years, this song has become longer and longer. As every year, my good friend, the poet, sends me another verse. Meantime, I've recorded so many albums and so many songs, over 450 songs recorded, and yet this song, as they say, the first cut is the deepest. This was and still is. And so, one of the added verses is one I like to conclude the song with. And I'll translate this one for you, so we're all on the same page. This one says that we shall learn to live together under the olive trees, and the children will grow up knowing no more wars, no terror, and no frontiers, and that fresh new grass will grow over the graveyards for love and peace. After 100 years of war, we haven't and will not lose hope. עוד נלמד לחיות ביחד בין חורשות עצי זיתים, ילדים יחיו בלי פחד, בלי גבולות ובלי מקלטים, על קברים יפרח העשב לשלום, ואהבה 100 שנים של חן עוד לא אבדה התקווה. ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר. אז הלילה, או הלילה, כך אני נשאר. ויהיה טוב, יהיה טוב, כן, לפעמים אני נשבר. אז הלילה, או הלילה, כך אני נשאר. יום חדש, כן. כן, 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 יהיה טוב, Happy Independence Day, יום עצמאות שמח. Thank you.
Thank you, David, for the beautiful performance. My name is Wendy Eidinger-Spatzner, and I'm the National President of JNF Canada. As we wrap up this evening, I just wanted to share some final words. JNF Canada's mission is to connect Canadians with Israel in a tangible way. At this period in time when we cannot gather in person for events or visit Israel, we have organized a number of web-based events to keep connected with our family there. For example, if you're interested in learning about the challenges facing Israel on its border with Gaza, please join us on May 4th. We are organizing a webinar with former spokesperson for the Prime Minister's office, Miri Eisen, and the Mayor of Sderot, Alon Davidi. We will share the link to register. We hope that this event serves to remind all of us who are physically isolated that we are so deeply connected across Canada and with the state of Israel as it celebrates the most joyous date on the calendar, Yom Ha'atzmaut. For those who have not yet made a donation to raise money for ventilators for Israeli hospitals, we will be sending out more information via email. This emergency campaign is running through May 5th. Thank you again to Lucas Sakinovsky for the mixology class. Tequila is my favorite drink. And David Broza for the beautiful music. And our JNF team of staff and board members for making this wonderful virtual celebration happen. On behalf of JNF Canada, we would like to wish you all a Yom Ha'atzmaut Sameach. Happy Israel Independence Day. Stay safe and stay healthy.